Hi there, this is Pete Howard, Director of Concert Posters for Heritage Auctions. And who else? The one and only. You know, you can't use that expression very often, but for Little Richard Penniman, you can certainly say the one and only, can't you? Just a killer Day-Glo window card with, you know, fluorescent red and floating head and 6 song titles and huge lettering on his name, you know, and the songs all tilted and everything. Just a spectacular piece. Ah, I just love this to death, my gosh. Now, this was a tour blank, used very briefly though, none of this national tour stuff. This was just used in the Pacific Northwest, perhaps only in Oregon and Washington State. But as a result, up top you would get, of course, the local concert printed in there, and this one is from Portland, Oregon. But you know, it really got me to thinking, this is credited to the Tilghman Press out of Oakland, California. Where would we be, I'm speaking a little broader audience here of poster collectors, without Tilghman Press? Where would this hobby be? In the 1950s and 60s, they made just a stunning array of concert posters, and they didn't do caravan shows, you know, like the Biggest Show of Stars and many artists and everything. They tended to do just 1 and 2 artists on a poster, and a lot like this that we call standalones. This is a Little Richard standalone concert poster from '57, and it's just so powerful, isn't it, when you have one musician on there, not a couple of opening acts or unknown bands and all that stuff, the orchestra name, that's all fine, but look at this. It's just so powerful, and that Day-Glo red-orange is just, it's really, you know, as you know, I only do a few videos per auction and just pick the very best, and this thing is like, it's as sweet as can be. It's just amazing. And the fact that they only appeared on the West Coast, you know, because Tilghman was based in Oakland, and they only printed for the Western U.S., West Coast. I mean, when you stop to think about it, their only competitor, if you will, would have been the Colby printing company out of Los Angeles, and they did a few good ones, but relatively few, just not a lot at all. So, you know, it's just, Tilghman was just critical to the poster hobby as far as west of the Mississippi, never mind just the West Coast. I mean, where would we be without them? And the fact they specialized in black music. So sure, there's, you know, your Jerry Lee Lewis and other white musicians, but boy, the black community, rhythm and blues music and black music was so well served by Tilghman, and there are so many good posters like this from them. I'm just so happy. Well, I'm saving the best for last, aren't I? And that is the 6 song titles on there. And again, you just gotta love the way they're tilted like that. It gives it a feeling of action around Little Richard's floating head and that famous pompadour. Look at that. But what important song titles. I mean, Rip It Up, Long Tall Sally, Lucille. These aren't just hit songs. These are like, they helped shape rock and roll in the 1950s. And I don't need to tell you, heavily influenced the Beatles and everybody that came after him. So just killer song titles on there. The Girl Can't Help It movie with Jane Mansfield. You know how many aspiring rockers watched that in the 50s and decided to pick up guitars and stuff? Killer song title to have on there. Then you've got Send Me Some Loving, which was a really important R&B song recorded by tons of artists. And how about the funny moment on the poster? I always love little goofs and mistakes made by the poster typesetters and stuff. Instead of "she got it," it says "she gat it," and that's just, I can't help but giggling. And I've seen this poster for decades. It's just such a charming part of it. You know, it just really illustrates how these things were made to last about 6 weeks, I usually say, and then be thrown away. And guess what? 99% of them were. So we're just so lucky the few were saved, and this is the only one ever seen from Portland. I think we've seen one other from another Oregon city, and that's it. They just weren't saved, as brilliant and beautiful as they are. So just so rare and brilliant. And Little Richard's music, what can you say? One of the huge, giant founding fathers of rock and roll. So somebody will win this lovely piece in our summer signature sale of music memorabilia and concert posters, taking place on July 19 and 20, Friday and Saturday, and the poster section is on the Saturday, July 20th. So to read a lot more about this brilliant poster, just come on by our website, and that would be ha.com/7377.